morning. I'm Dustin, Blake's younger and not quite as handsome brother. One thing about being a Reynolds is when we claim you as one of our people, you are one of our people. You're stuck with us for life, and we take that very seriously. And the outpouring of love and respect for my brother shows just how seriously he took that. So I want to say thank you to everyone for the kind words, the stories about my brother that brought laughs and tears, and the amount of love shown for who he was as a police officer, as well as the kind of man he was to his family and friends. So I could go on and on about the agony that my family has felt through this. I could keep talking about how this is the most painful thing that any of us have experienced, and how there's now forever going to be a hole in our hearts. But that wouldn't do any of us any good. On the other side of that coin, I could spend hours and hours telling story after story about Blake and I's shenanigans together growing up, and even into adulthood. But instead, I want all of you to understand Blake's heart and to know the amazing big brother that he was to me and several others. During our younger years, Blake had it all. He was tall, he was handsome, he was athletic, he was funny, he was just the whole package. Me, being the chubbier, shorter, not nearly as athletic younger brother, I was always jealous of him for that. I legitimately just wanted to be him. And in spite of all the picking on me and torturing me and holding me down until I was kicking and screaming, I still adored Blake and wanted everything he had. And as we got a little older into our teen years, Blake still found ways to pick on me, but he was the only one that was allowed to do that. It was around this time that sense of protectiveness that is in the blood of every Reynolds really started to kick in for us. And don't get me wrong, Blake and I drove each other crazy. But God help anyone else who would try to mess with either one of us. And eventually Blake got his license and started driving, and he became my chauffeur. And I'll forever cherish the times as teenagers just cruising around these Indiana country roads, blaring music, wind in our faces, just my brother and I against the world. And once we came into adulthood, we took slightly different paths. I moved away from my career, and Blake was here with the rest of our family. But that never hindered our relationship. In fact, I think at times it made it stronger. Blake was always my first call when I just needed to talk. And every time he answered the phone, it was always, "What's up, broski?" Every time. And he was a great listener. He never judged. And he was so understanding. Him working nights, I knew that he would always answer my late night calls, and I tried to do the same for him. I always wanted to make sure that even though I was several hours away, I was still there for him, because I knew he was still there for me no matter what. And our talks consisted of everything: advice, stories, rants. Blake has always had a much longer fuse than me. Our family and everyone close to us knows it's not a huge accomplishment. I might have a bit of a temper sometimes. In situations when most people would feel anger and frustration, Blake would feel compassion and understanding. He always had a way of being able to change my perspective on things, which sometimes made me even more angry, knowing that he was right. but he cared enough and loved hard enough to break through those stubborn outer shells that most people wear, and he could get to the real person. And that's part of what made him such a good friend to everyone. And I'm thankful for those times I got to experience with him. He made me a better man for it. And every time I visited home, it was as if I never left. We were always right back to our shenanigans. He would let me tag along with him to the gym whenever I was here, because we both love working out and we take our fitness very seriously. And in those times on the way to the gym, it was just like we were teenagers again. Music blaring in the car, windows down, just having the time of our lives. And now it's just all those simple things that mean the most to me. And I'm really going to miss those times when you're just with your best friend and your problems disappear and nothing else seems to matter. And I'm thankful for those moments I was lucky enough to experience with him. And I always enjoyed hearing Blake's work stories. My law enforcement career path was a little different than his. So I didn't quite have as much of an experience on the streets to the extent that he did. And it sometimes made me jealous that he got to serve and make a difference in our home community with people we've known our whole lives. And if you take a second and just look around, you can see just how obvious of an impact he had. And even now, I'm still hearing stories of the difference he made from people I don't even know, but knew him and remember him. And I love hearing about how everyone knew that famous grin of his that just let you know he was up to something. And I love hearing about the ways he was serving others that he never even talked about. But that's just who he was. He did the right thing simply because it's the right thing. He was good for the sake of good. He didn't need attention. He didn't need recognition. Blake just wanted to be of service. And that was good enough for him. And I know he knew it, and I know he knows it now. But I wish I could tell him one more time how proud I am of him. And that all these years later, I still want to be him. So as I was thinking about what I want to say today, I thought about some of the things that Blake would once said and how he would want to be honored. And there are a couple things that came to mind pretty quickly. So I want to speak to the law enforcement community as a whole. This badge is powerful. It's not just something we wear. It unites us, even across borders. And that is something that Blake knew and loved about his job. So Blake isn't just my brother. He's our brother. And I know Blake would want all of his brothers and sisters to be comforted and encouraged during this time. On November 12th, my brother did everything right. There's nothing him or anyone else could have done better to prevent this from happening. For the rest of us in this career field, it's not always going to be that way. We're going to find ourselves in situations where we may have to fight for our lives. When we all took the oath, it wasn't just to serve and protect our communities. It was also to do everything in our power to be prepared for that day when we'll have to look darkness in the eye and say, no, I'm going home today. Complacency is a cancer, and it cannot be allowed to take a foothold within law enforcement. So what does that mean for us? That means take the extra precautions. That means wait just a little longer for backup when you can. That means get in the gym, get stronger, get faster. Go hit a bag, go fight in the mat room, go to the shooting range and train. Whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself ready for when that day comes, do it. We all owe that much. We owe it to ourselves, to our families, to our brothers and sisters out there next to us, and to Blake, and all those who have gone before us. Because even though he's gone and we're mourning, our work here on earth continues. And Blake would want us to continue it to the best of our abilities, with the kind of servant's heart that he had. The other and more important thing that Blake would once said, which has been said already, but I'm going to say it again, is the gospel. Because Blake loved Jesus with all his heart. John 5:24 says, "Truly I tell you, anyone who hears my word and believes him who has sent me has eternal life and will not come under judgment, but is passed from death to life." And in John 11:25 and 26, Jesus says, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me, even if he dies, will live. Everyone who lives and believes in me will never die." So make no mistake, the pain we are feeling is from Satan. Satan has done his worst to try to hurt us. Satan's trying to break my family. He's trying to break this community. But he didn't win, because Jesus has the ultimate victory. Jesus has the ultimate victory over death. The only reason I'm able to stand up here today without falling apart into a complete mess is only because of Jesus. Because of Jesus, I will see my brother again someday. That is a hope and a peace that can only be found through Jesus. And I eagerly look forward to that day, and I urge everyone here, if you have not given your life over to Jesus, please do not leave here today without making that decision. I don't know why this happened to Blake, but I do know if just one person comes to Jesus through his story, that's good enough for me. There are several here who would be more than willing to walk you through that decision, myself included. So please find someone and accept Jesus so you can experience the same hope and peace that my family has. Revelation 21:4 says, "He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Grief, crying, and pain will be no more, because the previous things have passed away." Because of Jesus, this pain is only temporary. Because of Jesus, Blake is waiting for us in heaven. It hurts now, but it's only temporary. So to my broski, I love you so much. I miss you. I can't wait to be cruising with you again, windows down and rock music blaring. But until that day, I'm going to keep living every day serving Jesus and others, just like he did. Thank you.